So last class we were on verse number 46. यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. So in this verse now, as we know, Krishna is talking about karma yoga. We started second chapter and Krishna started his teaching with jnana yoga, as we all know. And after talking about jnana yoga for a few verses, now he has switched to karma yoga. Now there may be a doubt whether karma yoga is an alternative to jnana yoga. So let us first understand very clearly what Krishna wants to convey. We will just recap whatever we have learned so far, because unless we are sure what we are going to do, we will not go forward in any way. So first, jnana yoga he described. Once the goal is fixed, once we understand that the goal is moksha, only through jnana yoga one can attain moksha. There is no other alternative. So first we have to be very clear that jnana yoga is the only way to attain moksha, because ignorance can only be removed by knowledge. There is no other way you can remove ignorance. If you don't know something, knowledge of that thing only will remove that ignorance of that particular subject. So the only way to moksha is jnana yoga. So let us be very clear, because there will be a lot of confusion when people talk about different ways. There is a myth that in Kali Yuga, Bhakti Yoga is enough, because Jnana Yoga is not applicable in today's context. So these are all myths being circulated for convenience. People who want to promote certain things, they make it very attractive. Like we saw, the people who want to attain other goals, they talk in a very flowery language. They also mislead others. Not only they mislead themselves, they also mislead others. So let us not fall into this trap. If somebody is saying there is a shortcut, you try this or you try that, please be careful, because if you believe what Krishna says, then that becomes a standard. If somebody is a better teacher than Lord Krishna, then if you feel that person is greater than Lord Krishna, definitely you can follow that person. But if you feel, or if Bhagwan himself is saying something, then it is wiser to follow what Bhagwan himself says rather than follow someone who has his own ideas. We need not say that person is wrong or this person is right, but when Bhagwan is saying, if we have Shraddha in Bhagwan, then let us go by what Bhagwan says. And once you do that, be assured that you will never go wrong. Because if Bhagwan is wrong, then there is no hope for anybody. So that is why, if Bhagwan says, let us accept that with complete Shraddha. So when he says Jnana Yoga is the only way, then we have to accept that Jnana Yoga is the only way to moksha. Then why is he talking about Karma Yoga now? Is it another way to gain moksha? No. Karma yoga is basically to clean your mind so that the knowledge gets embedded in your mind. The more the knowledge gets embedded in your mind, the more you will be able to understand about yourself, because the knowledge is about self. So karma yoga, jnana yoga is not complete, or jnana yoga is, in fact, I would say useless without karma yoga. Because jnana yoga can become a intellectual massage, so to say. There are a lot of people who are very intellectually well trained. They will teach Bhagavad Gita also very well. They know there could be some professors. There are many people who are very learned. They know Bhagavad Gita very nicely. But when it comes to application, you cannot see them applying it. So the person who talks, his lifestyle should match. That is why we follow the traditional guru system. So we follow a lineage of gurus who have followed a lineage which starts from, like the prayer itself, when we say Sadashiva Samarambham, starts from Lord Shiva, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, somewhere in down the line Adi Shankara, and further down the teacher from whom we learn. So that is the lineage. So this lineage is what we are trying to follow. If we follow this lineage, the chances of being misguided are less. So karma yoga is basically to prepare the mind so that jnana yoga, when you gain the knowledge, it stays with you. So karma yoga by itself is not going to give you moksha. So let us be very clear. But both are complementary to each other. Without karma yoga, jnana yoga is useless, because all that knowledge, if you don't apply, it's only theoretical. So whatever in college we learn in the theory, when you take up a job, unless you apply it practically, it's not going to work. Similarly, jnana yoga is the theoretical part, but practically for that to function, karma yoga is very essential. So karma yoga prepares the mind for jnana yoga. So we should be very clear. Karma yoga is incomplete without jnana yoga, and jnana yoga is useless without karma yoga. So these two are complementary to each other, but ultimately knowledge comes only through jnana yoga, and that is what will give you moksha. So we should be very clear. So that is why in the last few verses, Krishna talked about the various aspects of karma yoga. First few verses he glorified karma yoga. Next few verses he criticized people who did not follow karma yoga, who did all the karmas, or all their action was oriented towards making themselves more prosperous without bothering about the surroundings, without bothering about others. The attitude. So basically, karma yoga is an attitude. The same action you do, but when you change the attitude, it becomes karma yoga. So Krishna had criticized those people, and then the last two verses again he talked about the positive aspects of karma yoga. So far we have understood what jnana yoga is, and now Krishna is going to go deeper into karma yoga. So he started off karma yoga, in the last few verses, giving the various aspects. Now he is going to further expand and talk about Karma Yoga. So let us now move to verse number 47. So let us first read verse number 47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhur ma te sangostva karmani. This is one of the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. This verse, if one can understand this verse in total, that itself will take us very far in this journey. This is a very popular verse, but at the same time, it's a very misquoted verse, misunderstood verse. People give their own explanation about this verse without actually giving the right meaning. So let us first understand what Krishna is trying to say in this verse. Karmanye va adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So he says, your choice is in action only, never in the results thereof. So you have choice when it comes to action, but you have no choice when it comes to the results. We will understand that a little more in detail. Do not think you are the author of the results of action. Let your attachment not be to inaction. So normally people translate this verse as do your duty but don't worry about the results. Phalana edirparkade, un velaye sei, karmatte sei, phalana edirparkade. So that is what is normally popular. This version is more popular, but the meaning is completely different. Here we have to understand we have something called as a free will. As a human being, we have something called free will. So this particular verse is going to talk about the principles of Karma Yoga. Because any karma, any action will produce results. Whether they are positive or negative, that's different. Definitely an action will produce result. There is no doubt about it. So we are talking about the results here. So let us understand what is free will first, because this is what we should first know, the concept of free will. Free will is limited to only human beings, not to any other beings, because only human beings can choose what they can do or what they should not do. Other beings, animals, they are all driven by instinct. When they are hungry, they will look for food. When they have some other they will behave in a particular way. But a human being has a choice. Whether, even if you are hungry, you have a choice whether to eat or not. So the choice is available. How one utilizes that choice is free will. So with respect to what is a choice? The choice is with respect to the action. Till you perform an action, you have a choice whether to do it or not. Till that moment where you do the action, you can always, suppose you want to clap your hand. Till you bring your hand here, you have the choice whether to complete the action or not. You can bring it here and then stop. But once you bring it together, what happens after that is not in your control. There may be a sound. There could have been a mosquito in between when you clapped. It could have died. Anything of this, or suppose the mosquito was sitting on somebody's cheek, and you, in good, as a good Samaritan, you go and try to kill that mosquito. You hit the cheek of that person, and meanwhile the mosquito would have escaped, or it might have got caught, but that person would have got slapped. After that, what happens, we don't know. He might have observed you taking this action to kill the mosquito. He would have said, okay, thank you, you helped me to kill the mosquito. He might not have known that, and he may slap you back. Why did you slap me? I will slap you back. So any of these things is possible, which is not in your control. So once you do the action, the result happens. There will be a result, but it may not be to the extent what you want. Example, again, there are so many examples we can give. You write the exam, any exam. Till you write the exam, you can prepare with the fullest degree of confidence. You spend hours and hours preparing for the exam. You are completely prepared. Then you go to the hall. You write the exam. Now, after writing the exam, you expect 90%. Suppose you get only 80%. You become very dejected. I expected 90. Or sometimes you expect 90 and you get 95. You are over the moon. But up to the point where you wrote the exam, it was in your control. After that, there is no point in crying or jumping with joy, because the results were, of course, your action was required for the result, but the results were not in your control. So that is what Krishna is saying. You have every right as a human being to do action, because free will is there, but you cannot expect every result to go your way. Your effort will definitely be part of the result, but you cannot say, I should have got 90, I have got 80, so I cannot accept this result. And you become dejected and you lose control over yourself. So learning to accept the results is Karma Yoga. There are so many factors which are beyond our control. Let us take another example. A farmer is going to sow the seeds. He prepares the land, he tills the land properly, he sows the seeds properly. He has done everything. So ideally speaking, the crop should come out well. So whatever amount of crop he is expecting should happen. But having done all this, suppose there is no rain. If there is no rain, the crops are not going to happen. Sometimes there is excess rain. All that work gets flooded. The crops all go waste. Or sometimes the crops come up, say he has sown banana trees, and there's a cyclone, all the banana trees fall down. So it has come up to the point where the bananas are ready for harvesting, and then there is a strong wind, cyclone, and all the plants fall down. So up to the point of preparing the land, sowing the seeds, everything was in the farmer's control. But having done all that, the X factors which are involved in the final product, if they are not conducive, you cannot do anything. So this is the case with everything that we do. Your effort is absolutely essential. You cannot say, I will not do anything, so I will not fail. So if I don't do anything, there is no chance of failure. Inaction, that is also not acceptable. So any action which produces an action, which produces as a result, the results have to be accepted. So this is what we call as prasada buddhi. So you go to a temple, suppose you go to Tirupati. So after you have darshan, when you come out, they distribute prasadam. The prasadam keeps changing. They have laddus, sometimes they have curd rice. So you want laddu. So you are waiting in the queue, you see people ahead of you getting laddus. So mentally you are prepared to get a laddu, and you already visualize the taste of the laddu. When you come, that basket of laddu gets over. So they start distributing curd rice. You don't like curd rice. So will you say, no, I don't want this prasadam? You accept whatever is you are supposed to get. You will not get anything that you don't deserve. You get what you deserve. So that is the basic thing to be accepted. So in our mind, we may have a particular result which we expect, but we should accept that the result may not be to what we think, because your result depends upon so many factors. So there are different sets of people. Some feel, okay, anyway it is fate, so why put in all this? Whatever fate comes, let it, I will take whatever comes. So that is a fatalistic attitude. You just leave everything to fate, you don't do anything, and then if things don't go your way, you are miserable. And there's another set of people who say, I do everything, so I should get the result. I have put in so much effort, I should get the result that I want. That is called arrogance. Because definitely the results may not be, may or may not be. Sometimes the results may work in your favor, because probably the effort that you put and what you deserve to get may match. So the law of nature also says, okay, this guy has put in this effort, he also deserves to get it. It's not that every time you don't get it, but the results are not in your control at all. This is the basic law of nature. So whatever action we do it with full vigor, with full heart. Accept whatever results come as prasadam, like we accepted whatever prasadam is being given on that day. Let us accept that, because this is what I deserve today. So both are required. you should put in the effort without effort. So inaction is not a solution. So say, if I don't do, I will not fail. You have to put in that effort, otherwise whatever comes, you don't know what you're going to get. Again, with the election being the topic now, we can probably relate to that. Now, election process happens, people vote. So everyone who votes wants his candidate to win. Suppose the group which loses, they all decide we can't accept this result. If they go about breaking things around, is that a solution? So once the result, you have the right to vote. Once you have voted, the results, whatever come out, you have to accept. If the other candidate wins, maybe it is his chance to win. Now there is a group which says, anyway, how does it matter who wins? Let me not vote. So there is a group which doesn't vote. So what happens? This is inaction. You don't participate, but you want things to happen. You want your representative to do everything. That you will complain about so many things. The roads are not good, the water is not coming, the public transport is not functioning well. All these complaints we will have, but some people, they will never go and vote. Maybe if they had voted, that group, maybe suppose we say there is a better candidate who's more reliable, and he loses, say, by 10 votes, and there's a group of 100 people who did not vote. Suppose out of that 100, if 60-70 people had voted for the more deserving candidate, that better candidate might have won. So by not doing an action, you cannot say, okay, it's only one vote. My vote, how much of difference is going to make? There are so many, but you never know. It could be, the difference could be so little. Even we have seen in cricket matches, people, a team loses by 1 run. People might have scored centuries, but ultimately that 1 run during fielding which they missed might cost them the match. So by being inactive, we are not moving forward. So let our action whatever action we perform, the attitude should be, my job is to do the action. Let me do it the right way. Let me do what is to be done. Let the results come. Whatever results come, I will accept them as what I deserve, I am going to get. Let us look at another example. Suppose we are going for a pilgrimage. See, you know that Amarnath Yatra, where they go through very tough terrains. They go all the way to the cave where there is a Shivalinga, which is made of ice. The Shivalinga forms. So it is not a permanent Shivalinga. When the ice melts, the Shivalinga goes away. And again, when the ice forms, the Linga again forms. So people go from far and wide to watch this or pray to this divine ice Shivalinga. So having gone through all this, suppose when you reach there, it so happens the Shivalinga has melted. You are not able to witness that Shivalinga. So is that effort all waste? If you feel, oh, I came all the way, spent so much money, so much of effort, and I was not able to witness the Shivalinga. If you get depressed by that, definitely you're not going to feel good thereafter. So the journey itself would have been very interesting, because when you traverse these mountains, you can see the beautiful surroundings. So enjoy the action all along. If you were supposed to get that darshan of the Lord in Shivalinga form, in the ice form, you would have definitely got it. But probably on that occasion, the Lord was not willing to give you his darshan. Accept that, yes, there must have been some reason why I didn't deserve to get that darshan. So, having come here, let me at least enjoy, enjoying that journey. I enjoyed this journey, and I prayed to Lord again to give me a chance to come here once again and see you in that form. So no action goes waste. Every action will produce a result. What we feel the action was wasted now, maybe it will fructify in the future. So this verse is about the action and results. It's a very deep verse. So again we can say, before you do action, think a few times. So karmanye va adhikaraste. So you have full control your actions. So when you commit any action, think hundreds of times before you do any action. But once having done the action, whatever results come, accept them and move along. If we build that attitude, so that is the attitude of Karma Yoga. So it is not that, like people say, don't expect results. Do your duty but don't expect results. Then why should you do something at all? Results will happen. Even Krishna would not have given a discourse to Arjuna. At least he would have had the hope that Arjuna will listen to him. He would not have given a discourse if he felt, okay, this fellow is not going to listen, why should I waste my time? So result definitely everybody wants, and everybody wants in their own favor. No doubt the results we expect, if we get, it's great. So there is nothing which says you should not expect a result. Accepting whatever result come is Karma Yoga. That maturity of accepting the result that comes through your effort, whether it is positive or negative, is Karma Yoga. Inaction is not a solution. Your action should not be oriented towards results. Action will produce result, but accept the result, whatever comes, as prasada. So this is the essence of this verse. If one can understand this verse deeply, to the fullest extent, this itself will bring about a lot of change in our attitude. So let us make a commitment from today itself to try and have that maturity, build that maturity to accept results that come from our actions as prasadam. We will continue in the next class.